This is our judgment-free zone now. Anger is one thing, acceptance is another, and for many pundits in the U.S., that's the most mystifying thing about the reaction to this anti-Muslim film. Not just the violence we've seen, but the perception for some Americans that a religion would condone killing a blasphemer. That was a take by HBO's Bill Maher last night. Listen.
There were a lot of people who reacted to this, and how dare you do this? Well, you know, the problem is that liberals see this picture, and they go, this is not all Muslims. And that is very true.
That's true.
Most Muslims don't go in the street like this. The point she was making that I've tried to make is, yeah, but most Muslims, at least half of them, I think, around the world, think it is okay to kill somebody if they insult the Prophet. And that is a big problem. That is a clash of civilizations.
So, Dean joins me again. Dean, our texts were burning up our phones last night.
Yes.
Okay, so we won't judge you on this one, but we have to ask, is Bill Maher right? Is this a clash of civilizations?
I don't think it's a clash of civilization between the West and the East. I think it's a clash internally within the Muslim community worldwide about how they want to be defined. And we're going to let the radicals define us, or we're going to stand up to them and say they've done us. You know, Bill Maher is saying 50% of Muslims around the world, there's over 1 billion Muslims, agree with violence and killing because of the depiction of Prophet Muhammad. To me, it's a shocking statement and truly irresponsible, unless he has some evidence, any evidence whatsoever, to back that up. Because that's a true indictment.
But I think
every other Muslim I know supports killing people.
Let's talk. I believe, whether it's accurate, or not, I believe many Americans feel the way Bill Maher feels.
I agree with you.
I see on television, and I did a lot of reading, and I watched 2 documentaries, and I saw there was one that was done right after 9/11 where there was a Gallup poll that said, I think it was about 54% of Muslims believed there was no justification for 9/11. And then the rest, it was nebulous. They said no comment, they didn't have a feeling about it, and then 7% said yes, absolute justification. So that's a huge number of 1 billion people who believe that there might be some justification for that type of action. And I think that's what Bill Maher is talking about.
Well, if you want to say, and I'm not sure what the number is now, and that was right after 9/11, a few percentage of Muslims who are radicals, who are violent, who are jihadists, that might be accurate. I just don't think the rest of us need to be defined by them, nor should we be. And that's the challenge for us. I agree with you. My fellow Americans, a lot of them who are progressives, have a different opinion when they get to Muslims. They're no longer liberal. They have this view that we're all bad, or we're secretly trying to do something, or we might not be as patriotic as our fellow Americans. And I think that's our challenge on some level as Muslims, to go out there and make sure people know who we are, what we're about.
So why haven't we heard that much of that? I heard Haroon talk about that, and he said, well, it's our focus. But I have not heard that much about it. And when I asked you about it, you said, well, I don't want to be defined. Why should those people define me? And this is what I say to you. I'm going to read a quote to you from the late Martin Luther King Jr., who was speaking in New York 1 year before his assassination, and he said, a time comes when silence is betrayal. Okay? So, Dean, do you believe that Muslims who don't object to these protests are part of the blame for the bloodshed that comes with it, because through their silence?
And that, the question is, on what will some of them do? I mean, you look at, for example, Indonesia. 700 people protested out of 200 million people living in the country. 700 out of 200 million people. So the other 199 million have to get out and say to those 700, stop protesting? Or do they roll their eyes and go, these people are radicals, I have nothing to do with them? Keep in mind, Indonesia a few months ago, 50,000 Muslims or Indonesians bought tickets to Lady Gaga concert. Why isn't the Muslims in Indonesia defined by the 50,000 who bought tickets to Lady Gaga? That's the struggle we have. We are defined by our worst element over and over again, and that's certainly true for many minorities.
That's true for everyone. Most people are defined by their worst element.
And I love, there's another quote Martin Luther King I love, where he said, it's not that the strident clamor of the bad people that concern him, it's the silence, the appalling silence of the good people. So, we need other good people to stand with us. Yeah. Like when Bill Maher tells progressives, hey, it's okay not to like Muslims because 50% of them support killing people in the name of Islam, that's horrible, because all we have left, frankly, are progressives and some moderates. People on the right, we've lost a lot of them.
Here's the bottom line, and then we have to run, and I love that you and I are able to talk this way. Okay, and this is from the New York Times today. This is from Roger Cohen. He says, but the failure, Dean, in Tunisia, Libya, and Egypt to control violent mobs of Salafists enraged by mockery in America and Europe of Islam and the Prophet Muhammad, suggests an unacceptable ambivalence. The rule of law here on earth must override divine indignation. Do you understand that?
I understand. I comprehend the words. I know what I know. I
We
know.
got to run, though. We've got to run. We'll continue this conversation.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you, Dean.
Sure.
We'll be
Thanks.
right back.